in SEC play. It's LSU and Texas A&M, but only one.
This is a lot of football to be played here in the month of November. But as we say around here, the games in November are the ones you remember. Our first goal is to go win an SEC championship. And that's what we're striving for.
That's why we come to Texas. As a little kid, you live to play in these type of games in this atmosphere. They're going to be loud, they're going to be rowdy, they're going to be energetic.
It's going to be a dogfight, four-quarter game.
We have to play physical and we have to execute. Trust in the culture that we've developed.
There's a standard, and that's the way we're playing today, man.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How are you, Derek?
What's going on, Dustin? How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good, man. What a weekend of football.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna say it almost went exactly how I thought, except for
one game.
2 games for me. Almost, yeah, 2 games for me.
Because what was the second one?
Well, I had Penn State. Remember, I had Penn State winning in
Texas.
Texas.
Oh, yeah.
And then remember on Saturday, I changed my pick from Clemson from SMU to Clemson on Saturday before they played. So
yep, that's right.
But yeah, man, great weekend of football. Yeah, great weekend, man. And so I guess before we get kicked off, let's run our sponsor for the evening, and then we'll get going.
Drew Henkel. Therapeutic is located in South Tyler. Drew specializes in deep tissue work to relieve your chronic aches and pains. Drew also offers sports massage or full-body stretch sessions for athletes or people who have tight muscles. Find him on Facebook or call him at 903-747-0417.
Comanche Tees is located in Longview, Texas. They are owned by Naomi Simmons. They specialize in making all kinds of custom apparel and hats for any occasion. You can scan the QR code on the screen to go to her Facebook, give her a call at 903-985-9120, or even email her at comanchetees24@gmail.com.
What's going on, Cecil, man? How you doing?
How are you, Cecil?
Hey, Cecil. Much appreciated, man.
Oh, yeah, Cecil, I just found out about what you're doing, and I'm going to say thank you, man. You don't have to do that, but we definitely appreciate that.
We'll try to maybe incorporate you in that some way.
For sure.
When we get to that point.
I don't know. We'll talk about that probably towards the end. We'll do that at the end to kind of give some little bit of insight on it. But well, man, let's just hop right into the games from this weekend. Well, actually, I lied. I missed 3 because I picked Tulane too. So I lied. We both picked Tulane to win that game, I think, if I remember right.
Yes, I did too, because I didn't think Army looked good.
Well, hey, Daly was 100% on his throws.
Yeah.
He was 2 for 2.
And he didn't lead the team in rushing. I think that hadn't happened.
He didn't lead the team in rushing, but he sure led in touchdowns. He had 4 or 5. I can't remember.
But I thought you said he had 3 at one point.
Yeah, he had 3, and then I think he ended up with 4 or 5. I can't remember exactly how much, but yeah.
I'll be honest. I know there's one game left before the bowls, but this Tulane team kind of
fell off.
See them
Yeah.
bail out really midway through the year. I think they lost 2 back-to-back maybe, or 2 out of in 3 weeks, something like that. And
they lost their last 2. They lost to Memphis and they lost to Army. And then at the beginning of the year, they lost to Kansas State, which was 17 at the time. And then they lost to Oklahoma, which was 15th at the time.
Hey, Cecil, we Army and Marshall play in the Independence Bowl, and that's where me and Dustin are going.
Yeah. Yep.
So we get to see your herd.
We get to see your herd, and we get to see Mr. Brian Daly play live. I'm excited about that. We've been kind of talking about him.
Over under 3 passes.
Under. I'm gonna take the under on that because I don't. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he'll pass from. I don't know. He might surprise us, but yeah, man. I mean, Army just dominated from the jump in this game. It's not like Tulane played bad, but obviously they had 1 turnover. Army, I believe, had none. So I mean, it wasn't like it was just a turnover big game for Tulane, but they just couldn't stop their rushing. I mean, their running back is Kanye Yuta. He had 158 for a touchdown. Bryson Daly ended up with 126 for 4 touchdowns. So they were 284 yards on the ground with 5 touchdowns. I mean,
I don't think it's as much as now they are good at running the ball. Don't get me wrong.
Well, they're a running team. That's all. They're built like we talk about teams that are built to run. Like we think of like Michigan. This team is literally built to beat you on the ground, keep the ball as long as they can, and waste clock. That's like their goal.
Yeah, and I mean, there comes a point in time where like I'm tired of stepping in that A gap. Coming like we've been doing this for 3 quarters now. Like I think great.
That's how you wear a defense down, though. Is all you got to do is run the ball because you got to think on a pass play. I mean, you would think, and when you're playing a team like Army. Like obviously, I always root for Army, so that game kills me. Oh yes, Cecil, you got a big decision to make. But I'm. What's up, Jim? How are you? Cecil, I'm going to assume you're going to go for Marshall, but at the same time, in the back of your mind, you got to root a little bit for Army on that one, right?
That's one of those games where you're like, man, I hope Daly has 7,000 yards rushing, but I hope we win 3-0.
Yeah.
Like you want the other team to do really well, but you still want your team to win.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean. They're so built to run and like
nobody can stop it.
And it's crazy as they've been doing that they did that for 12 games, and the only team they couldn't succeed at doing that with was Notre Dame, because if you saw in that Notre Dame game, they did quite a bit of passing. Not like they still ran the ball a lot, but they just couldn't.
They got behind quick.
Well, they did, and so they had to go to the passing game because when you get that far behind, you can't just run the ball. But yeah, I mean, Tulane didn't have a shot. They couldn't stop the run. I saw here that game. They would stack the box, and it just didn't matter.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously Boise State. I mean, listen, I'm going to say one thing about Boise State is obviously Genty does his thing, but I'm telling you, this quarterback for them is so underrated. I saw him make some great throws Friday night, and like they are built to run, but they have a passing game that complements the run game. It's usually the other way around. It's usually the running game complements the pass, but it's the opposite with this team. Like, because they're so worried about Genty, they will stack the box, and then they're throwing the ball. And he doesn't turn the ball over a lot. And they just, I don't know. They're in their defense. I mean, this is the second time playing UNLV too. And they beat them twice this year.
And you think about that. Think about everything UNLV went through this year with the quarterback and the starting running back belling on them because
they still had the chance to win
They were 10-1. Really, with 2 losses coming to Boise.
Jim. I know. Cecil, hold on. Cecil, your prediction right now is Oregon, Boise State? Like, that's your prediction right now? Because I love it.
I didn't know if he was talking about Boise or Georgia. He is.
Okay.
Good pick. I like that, Cecil.
We'll get into. We're gonna bring up the bracket a little bit after we talk about the games from this weekend. We'll talk about a little bit. I don't think we're gonna pick our winners or nothing. But we'll talk about it a little bit, see what kind of matchups we could have down the road, and then kind of the first round matchups.
Something I thought was kind of cool Friday night. We really don't get to do this that often. I mean, so far this year we haven't. But having the UNLV game on while talking to a UNLV commit, I thought that was pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, his thing was they're getting blown out because I'm not there yet, which I love that. I love that energy and that confidence that he has. And he's a good running back. Like I said, like I told you, I go on the YouTube and I watch some of the games because my boss is involved with the streaming side of it, and so I check out some of their stuff, and he's legit. I mean, he's a good runner.
Very, very good runner. And I expect big things from him, even in his freshman year. As everything works out for him, it'd be good. But yeah, I mean, Boise did what they were supposed to do. I mean, not crazy scoring, but I mean, they ran the ball for 32 times. Genty just went insane, like as we expected.
Yeah.
And so these games weren't huge. I mean, we expected Boise to win. We expected Tulane to win, but we weren't necessarily down Army because of Daly. But there was a little surprise with Tulane losing that game and by 21. That was a little bit of a surprise. I thought that game would be closer than that, but Army pretty much ran away with it from the jump and never looked back. So, man, let's talk about the Texas game first, because the other game to me is, I feel like there's more to talk about with the other game personally.
Yeah, the Texas game. If you would have told me that if I was just looking at stats, I would have, and not the score, I would have thought this was probably a 17-point victory for Texas.
Agreed.
I mean, they dominated the first half. I mean, really anything they wanted to do.
Besides the running game, they could not run the ball.
They were missing field goals.
Yeah, they missed 6 points on field goals. I mean, if we're being honest about that, if we make those 2 field goals, it doesn't go in overtime, and Texas wins.
Texas wins, absolutely.
So
I was very, something that I read today, and I don't agree with it, and I don't like it, and I know I'm getting into the playoff side of it. There's been a lot of complaining about Georgia shouldn't be in there because they lost their starting quarterback. Because they're bringing up the Florida State from last year. Conference champs lose their starting quarterback, and they don't make the playoffs. And I'm just going to go on record saying that Georgia deserves to be in there. You're talking a completely different situation. And you're talking, 3 weeks now that he has to heal and get ready? So I just needed to throw that in there after everything that I saw today on social media about the injury. And I did see something I thought was pretty funny. It was I want to say it was the center, it might have been the left guard. I don't remember which one. He said, man, when right before we scored the touchdown, he said, I heard all the fans kind of get loud and get crazy. He said, I thought they were just getting hyped up, for that we were fishing to score. He said, I didn't even know Beck was back in the game. He said, I didn't know he was in the game either. He said, I heard the play call and I turned around and just hit the man in front of me.
Yeah, about this game, like Cecil said, Texas didn't play great in the second half. Now, I know Ewers had 2 interceptions. That first one was not on him. The receiver dropped it, tipped off him, landed.
No, yeah.
So that first one was not on Ewers. That was on the receiver. Now the second one was on Ewers. I give him all that. Ewers, he was a little bit over 50%. I think it was like 54 and some change percent. So like this, my opinion, this is one of the Ewers' best games all year, passing wise. I thought he did great this game, minus the 1 interception that was on him. Texas defense played great. They did what they were supposed to do. I mean, I know that Georgia's going to score the ball. They're going to score, just like Texas is going to score. Now, I know there wasn't any touchdowns in the first half, but that's because the defense were playing lights out.
Yeah.
And they were playing lights out. Even with Texas passing the ball great, they still found a way to keep them from scoring. And I blame the kicker for this game. I don't blame the coach. I don't blame viewers. I blame the kicker.
100% the kicker.
He is such a good kicker, and even the game before that, he missed. Even against A&M, he missed field goals. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know if he's injured. I don't know if it's. I don't know. He was one of the best kickers in college football.
That's something you don't see very often, and I think that it needs to be. And it's going to sound so bad, but I think more light needs to be shined on that, because if Ewers goes out last night and throws 3 interceptions and they lose, hey, man, Quinn sucks. He is the reason we lost, because he threw these. Kickers need to start getting the blame placed on them and owning up to it.
Yep.
They get a pass because they're just kickers. Well, the quarterback didn't score, or the running back fumbled the ball. Your job is to kick.
That's all you do is kick.
And we watch the Pat McAfee stuff on game day where they go out there and they kick, and I understand that it's hard, but like literally, you don't have to read coverages, you don't have to blocking assignments. Remember pass routes. You line up 3 steps, boom, and kick through the upright. That's it. That's your 2-hour practice after whenever y'all practice. That's your practice.
This game is definitely on Brett Auburn, 100%. He knows that, but he's not going to get the scrutiny. I've been seeing it all day. It's all Texas. I keep hearing Texas is a bad team still. I've heard people say they should be in the playoff. They didn't play nobody. I'm tired of hearing about it because they deserve to be there. Yes, they lost to Georgia twice, but that's all they lost to. And they deserve to be there. And, we'll see what happens in the playoffs. I mean, it's a different game in the playoffs. Yeah. The records are 0-0.
And I will put this out there. I'm gonna do a little. It's not a hot take, but I'm gonna throw this in there. If ETN gets back fully healthy,
this team is super scary.
Super scary. I saw that. I mean, he is a hard runner with good speed. Hard runner with good speed.
How many games won by a kicker? Well, I can name one from last night. Hit a 56-yarder to win.
Yeah, I mean, there a bunch of games where kickers win.
Listen, Clemson's not going to beat Texas. Don't do that. Y'all know Clemson's
that
not
might
beating
sound
Texas.
that might sound like a bet game right there. Maybe a Clemson shirt if they love something. We can figure that one out.
I'm sorry, but Clemson's not going to beat Texas, because of the defense. Again, Texas's offense, like that, this is their best offensive showing all year. It's going to come down every game Texas plays from here on out is what offense are we getting? Because the defense is going to be there. Let's do it, Cecil. If Texas wins, you gotta get you a Clemson shirt, put it on, post yourself in social media, and if Clemson wins,
Texas shirt.
Yeah, you got to get a Texas shirt, and if Clemson wins, I'll do the same, and I'll post it.
If Clemson wins, and I'm going to say this right now, I don't know if he's watching or anything, but if Clemson wins and Cabe plays really good, I'm tagging Jake in Clemson stuff until the cows come home. Every time I see a Clemson post, I'm putting him in it.
Now, Cecil, I think it's going to be a better game than expected because it is listen, Dabo Swinney is a very good coach. He has accomplished more at Clemson than a lot of other coaches have. I'm not going to knock Clemson, but when I look at Clemson and Texas, that's not going to.
He's got 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean
or 2 weeks. I'm sorry, the 21st.
Yeah. I see every team coming out and being a little slow.
Yeah,
everybody.
I do.
Like, because you get 2 weeks off. It's like having a 2-week bye back to back. Gonna be 3 points. Cecil, the only way Clemson beats Texas if they just shut that offense down to where they can't run or they can't pass, kind of like what Georgia did the first game.
Clemson doesn't have that defense.
But Clemson, I'm telling you, this is going to be the toughest team, in my opinion, that Clemson's played all year. And look what SMU came back and did to them last night. Let me ask you this. Would SMU beat Texas right now? SMU. No shot. I like Jennings. That team's great. But those teams are not – they're not on that. I just don't think
they're built different.
This is different. SMU beats Texas. Cecil, come on. There's no way. I think you're just trying to get me routed up here. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way they beat Texas.
They might be commenting on a different page, Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is playoff football. Like, I agree, Cecil. Anything can happen. Like, anything can happen. I get that. I just, from what I've seen this year, I don't think Clemson can beat Texas. I don't think SMU. But again, I didn't think Texas would lose to Georgia twice either. So I mean, I get what you're saying. I think anybody can lose or win because the atmospheres are going to be different than it is for now. At this point, all 12 teams are going for a national championship. So I agree with that. It's playoff football.
Hey, let me ask you this. This is a good question. And it can be anybody, Dustin or whoever's watching. Do you think that teams are going to play more conservative now because it is playoff football?
Conservative in what way?
Do you think Quinn Ewers is going to throw the ball 46 times versus Clemson? Or is Weiser going to have 27 carries and Manning come in for 7 or 8 carries? That just conservative and not try to, like, I mean, look at Levitt here. I know we're not on that game yet, but it's up here. 17 passes. 17 passes is all he did, and which they didn't need him to throw a whole lot because they routed Iowa State. But, I mean, do they get conservative and not try for the big home runs, especially coming out after a 2-week bye, more or less?
It depends. I think in the beginning, yes, because you got to think some of these teams have not played each other, right?
Yeah.
So they got to fill them out a little bit. They're going to take the easy plays, the easy shots, the mid passes, short passes, screens, running the ball, and then once if because obviously Sark is offensive minded, he's helping with the play calling. I know he is. Then if they see the shots are there, they're going to take it.
Yeah.
But this is what I do see in Texas doing in the playoffs that they haven't done all year is they will Manning will get some plays designed for him in the playoffs.
I believe so too. He has to.
They will incorporate him in the offense now, and I think I think he did it one time against Georgia yesterday. They will do that more in the playoffs because nobody has seen a lot of that. Now he played, but there hasn't been a lot of series where he just came in and played to run. He did that against A&M and Georgia, like two or three plays total. I think they need to do more of that because he is a threat with the running game.
So just like yesterday, I felt like Beck was struggling a little bit in that first half. And I think it was a lot with Texas was blitzing 4 or sending 4, and they were dropping back. They were concerned about the pass a little bit. Well, the Stockton kid comes in, they send 4, and he's running. I mean, he's getting some yards. He's rolling out of the pocket, throwing, and that one where he took that shot on the goal line. Beck's not doing that. Beck's not putting his body on. And I think Stockton and Manning remind me a lot of each other as far as they're going to go get you some yards. They're going to get you things that Ewers, who is a great pocket passer, isn't going to do. Beck, who is a decent quarterback, I mean, he still, I don't think he has any turnovers in the last 4 games. So he's progressed in that area. But I agree. I think these backups, especially for Texas, I don't think there's any team in the country that is too deep at quarterback like Texas is.
I do say I think Penn State is because they did a lot of that with their quarterback yesterday. They had 2 in there at one time.
You're right.
Like in there, and one was playing like a running back.
Yeah, you're right. I do remember that.
There are some teams that have it, but we're talking about like we talk about all the time, especially like NFL, like not Saquon, but Montgomery and Gibbs. Texas has it at quarterback.
Yeah.
So, and again, if Ewers goes down, there's no worry. I actually think more people would be excited if Manning was playing, and I say that because they know what they have. Because Manning is going to be special. We'll get 2 years from him, I think, and he'll be special.
Mm-hmm.
But man, let's talk. Man, this Arizona State team, man, I am way more nervous about playing this team than Clemson by far. I'm so scared if Texas were to win. This team is not a slouch. I don't care if they're the Big 12. They were projected to finish last in the Big 12 when they won the conference.
They won the They didn't win the conference. They dominated the conference.
First year in the conference, and they win. and not just win.
Freshman quarterback.
And a running back that no one's talked about, and I guarantee you people will talk. If he comes out, which if I were him, I would not be surprised to see him picked fifth in the top 15 with Genty somewhere, not like before him, but in the top 15 to 20 in the draft.
Really?
See, so I'm saying if Texas wins, I'm scared for them to play Arizona State. I'm more scared.
He's saying, did I hear if Texas wins? That's what you heard, Cecil.
No, I did. No. I mean, I'm going. I mean, listen, like you said, anything happens. I'm saying if Texas wins, I'm scared. I'm more scared from the play Arizona State than they are about to play Clemson. I am. Because now again, Texas's big thing is their defense is that good. I think we've seen that against Georgia. Their defense is legit. They have a great defense. They're right there with Georgia. But that running back Scatterboo is just insane.
Have you seen the video going around of him in high school?
Who's Scatterboo?
Yeah.
I have not.
I will send it to you. I will find it and send it to you. Dude, I have never in my life seen a run like he had. I mean, so he's about probably 25-ish yards downfield, and I think they're in blue jerseys. It's nothing but white around him. And then you see one kid, like, get slung off. I mean, like, he flies, and he spins, and he just takes off. Like, he just busts out of it. Like, it's just ridiculous.
If we did not have an Ashton Genty in college football, Scatterboo would be the. I'm not gonna say he's playing. He'd be going for the Heisman, but I'm saying he'd be the best running back by far. And there's some great.
It would be between him and Singleton from Penn State. I like the Singleton kid.
And Alba has that good running back.
Oh, Iowa has that. Caleb Johnson, absolutely, dude. He's a monster.
Yes,
he
really
would be
good.
A perfect back. I know we're not there yet. He'd be a perfect back for Dallas.
And Scatterboo. He's a McCaffrey 2.0, but runs way harder than McCaffrey. Not that McCaffrey doesn't run hard, but Scatterboo is a bigger version of a McCaffrey. That's the way I want to put it.
Yeah, I think McCaffrey may be a little bit better pass catcher, but just slightly. But yes, I do see the similarity there. That's a perfect comparison, I think.
Yeah, and Iowa State had no chance in this game. There was
they got hit in the mouth early, and it was over.
It was a blowout.
I was glad. So I didn't like the targeting call.
Yeah.
That's horrible because now they lose that guy for the first half of their playoff game. And it very well could be against Texas, and that's a huge loss. They already are going to be missing their number one receiver. But big props to the Iowa State quarterback for coming back in. And because he was ruled out for a while, and they weren't going to let him come back in. But then he ended up coming. He told the coach, they had a conversation on the sideline, and whatever the coach said, he ran over and grabbed his helmet and went back. I like the Iowa State coach, Campbell. Great coach. Great coach, man. I really thought he was going to get him one yesterday, but they came out flat, and Arizona State has been red hot the last 5 weeks. So, but yeah, that was probably one of the best.
Yeah, I mean, Arizona State's scary. I had them blowing this. I had them blow. This was a blowout game. I don't even think I had it this much, but they're scary, and they have a good chance to make a little run. Unfortunately, I think they're. We'll talk about the bracket soon, but I think they have a harder road to go than a lot of teams. I think Texas does as well. But let's go to this. Man, these two games. I mean, you had Arizona State playing first. The next three games, Texas and these two were way better games than I ever expected. Actually, not the Texas game. The Texas game went exactly how I thought it would, except Texas lost for me. But it went just exactly. I knew it was going to be a slugfest defensive game. But Penn State, this was their best game all year to me.
Yeah, 100% agree.
They kept getting down, and they kept just fighting back in here. Aller had some interceptions that really hurt them, I think, for having that ball and not – because I'm going to tell you something. Oregon, That was my first time watching Oregon all year. I haven't watched them. That team, I understand why you picked them to win. They are scary, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan Gabriel, I did not see that Dylan Gabriel last year at Oklahoma. I did
Oh
not see
no,
that.
no. Absolutely.
He is insane. His time from the snap to throwing is some of the fastest I've ever seen in college football.
Mm-hmm.
That team is destined to win. And they're not a great team. They're a phenomenal team.
For Ohio State to almost beat them, and for Boise to almost beat them, and then was it Wisconsin almost beat them? I think whoever it was, they've had a couple close games, but then you watch them like against the number 3 ranked Penn State, and they pretty much handled the game. There were some scary times, here and there, but man, I'm like you. This team is so good. Like, it's so good. And they're only going to get better. Next year they've got a class coming in. Like I said, they've got the number 1 and 2 receiver in the nation going there. That's stupid. It's just dumb.
I'm curious to see what quarterback goes there and if it's a transfer portal quarterback that comes in.
Maybe. That might be. And see, that might be the route. You get these quarterbacks that go to, I'll just say Liberty because I know that quarterback's in the portal. He goes there and he throws for 3,500 yards or whatever and shows that he's a really good quarterback. Well, Gabriel's leaving. Let's bring in a guy instead of having to groom a freshman. Let's bring in a guy who's already college ready, who's played against college talent, who's shown that he's good. And while I think that's good for Oregon because especially with who they have coming in, it's bad for the guys that are still there. It's bad for the high school kids coming in because that takes a spot away from them. But man, it's Jim. How many players are going to sit out in bowl games?
Jim. So that's a great question because that's talked about a lot. Obviously, the bowl games matter, but they're not as significant as obviously the playoff games. Because when we say bowl games, these games in the playoffs are all bowl games as well. So, but we're talking about outside of the bracket. It depends. Like, if you're a potential NFL pick and you have a good shot to go and not to risk an injury, you could see some people sitting out because of that.
Let me ask you this. I'll kind of double off that question of Jim's. If you're doing an NIL deal, do you put in place, hey, we're paying you to play?
You have to.
We're paying you. You're getting $30,000 for 5 months worth of football from August to December or whenever you play, whatever. There's no sitting out unless you're hurt. Almost like what the NBA is doing with the load management crap. Like, you're paid to play. I can't just say, oh, well, tomorrow's Monday. I don't feel like going to work. So I'm just not going to go. No, I'm paid to go to work. This is your job now. Football is your job.
Yep, I agree. And but yeah, Oregon's scary. Penn State showed me a lot. James Franklin showed me a lot. He did.
James Franklin, the play call. There's something that I don't like Penn State that they do. I've only seen 2 games of Penn State. I watched last night and I watched the Ohio State
game.
Yeah, they didn't do it as much in the Ohio State game. I thought there was way too much, like you said, the 2 quarterbacks. Why you're taking a blocker out, you're taking a receiver out, you're taking somebody out that's freeing somebody up on the other side of the ball. Like if I'm a linebacker and we're in man, or if I'm a safety and we're in man, your quarterback's not going to run in the A gap and block for you. So I know he's not running. He's not going to run a swing route and catch a football. So I know he's not doing that. So now I can focus on something else.
And the way they were running, it was unnecessary to do what they were doing.
All the jet sweeping and all that, they're not built for that.
Allen had 14 carries, 124 yards. Like, they didn't need to do that extra double quarterback stuff. Like, they had plenty of run game going. Because when you do that and you don't do it a lot and there's not really much coming out of it, they know you're running the ball. So there's not really much guessing. It's just go hit the man with the football at that point.
And I think one time in the first quarter, Might be on their first possession. I think their tight end was lined up at quarterback. They tried to run a jet sweep to Singleton. The tight end caught it like just as Singleton got there and he dropped it. Luckily, it literally bounced right back up to him, or it could have been a 14-0 hole. I mean, quick.
Yeah, they did a little much, and it kind of hit on this other game. SMU showed me a lot too, because they were down 24-10, came back, scored, tied it up, and Clemson. They just gave Clemson too much time.
Mm-hmm. Not enough to have 40-yard kickoff return either.
That didn't help either. And then they go down there, and then they hit a 56-yard field goal to end the game. That was rough, but it showed me. That showed me, and I like how. By the way, this is something I don't agree with that I found out today with the committee. The lead committee guy is an athletic director at Michigan. Did you know that?
Well, I think they're all in there somehow. Like I think there's say if there's 10 of them, I think 4 of them might be still involved in the game with universities, and then I think they had like Condoleezza Rice last year, and so then they get like some outside perspective people.
Yeah, you kind of have to, because like it came down to when the brag came out this morning. It came down to the last, first of all, it went down to the last seed because Clemson right off the back got the last seed. Like they were number 12. That was the first picked outside the top 4. It was Clemson because they won. They had that, but I know why they got the 12th seed, because they had 3 losses. We still stuck with the 3-loss thing. Only one could get in, and one only got in. Did you realize that, or no?
Oh, SMU being a 3-loss team?
No, Clemson. They were the only 3-loss team in. Did you realize that when they did the bracket today, that there was only one 3-loss team in, and that was Clemson?
SMU's got 3 losses.
They got 2. This was their second loss.
Oh, yeah. Never mind. Yes. No, I did not realize that.
And so they did.
But they couldn't keep them out either because they are conference champs.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying, though, is like if Clemson wins, there was no way for another team to get in. Like Alabama, Ole Miss. Like there was no way, because Clemson won and they got that 12th seed. So like, because Alabama ain't gonna come in as a 6th seed. There's no way.
Yeah, that's what I sent y'all the other night. The only thing that was up for grabs was that last spot, and it was either going to go SMU or it was going to go Bama.
Now,
and it went SMU.
If SMU wins, we're talking. If SMU wins, Alabama's in.
Yes,
Alabama's in.
I will tell you this: the one thing that I learned about this, and I don't think it's going to be good going forward. Strength of schedule does not mean anything.
It doesn't, and Nick Saban said that today. It means nothing.
It means absolutely nothing, because I seen a thing on Alabama. Alabama has more top 25 wins than I think SMU, Notre Dame, and Indiana combined. Combined, and they're out. So, man, I don't know. I don't know. Like you said, you can't, and you will never convince me. Nobody will ever convince me that, Bama didn't make it because they lost to Vandy. Well, guess what? I would rather be 0-3 versus Vandy than being 11-1 and lose to Northern Illinois, not playing a conference championship game, and for Notre Dame. Yes, Jim, I did see. I love that.
I did not see that. Please refresh, or I want to hear about it. I did not see it.
So they were talking about, what she asked him about Georgia, winning the SEC and getting in and all this and that. And he said, yeah, we finally got us a home game since Shanky wanted to keep us out on the road all year. And then he was standing like 3 feet from him. And he just caught him on the post game while they were getting the trophy.
Who is Sankey? Who is that?
The SEC commissioner.
So the SEC commissioner, they're the ones that picks the schedules and the games.
Yes. And Kirby called him out right there on the stage. Like I said, he was 3 feet from him.
I mean, that's good. I'm glad Kirby did that, because I think next year, well, obviously I know the schedules are probably set. Obviously, I'm sure they are. But with the way they did the bracket and what came down to who went where, what, just everything. Strength of schedule it just had no part in it this year. It was just, I don't know how they picked. I think I'm not gonna say they had favorites, but in a way they were like I think they knew this. I think it came down to they knew who was getting in. It just mattered with one game.
Yeah.
Clemson SMU. That was the only thing that would have changed it.
Man, I'm still under the impression, and it would make these brackets look a whole lot different if you literally just picked the 6 conferences, your top 6 conferences, whatever they are, the SEC, the Big 10, the ACC, the Big 12, Mountain West. What am I leaving out here?
Or are you going to put the MAC in there too?
Well,
that's what I'm saying. That's the hard thing about it is like, okay,
I would get your biggest 6, whatever you want to classify as your biggest 6 conferences. Well, and if you make the conference championship, you're in. Win or lose, you're in.
So if that was the case, Army would be in, Jackson State would be in, and okay, no. So here's the remaining teams that could be.
How many conferences do we have?
So the big conferences are the Mountain West, the ACC, the AAC, excuse me, Conference USA, MAC, and Sun Belt. Those were all the big ones. So you would have to choose between Sun Belt, MAC, AAC, or the
So you got them 5. Then you got the SEC, the Big 10, the Big 12, the ACC. So you've got 9 conferences.
Mm-hmm.
I think you take your top 4, your Power 4 conferences. If you made the playoffs, if you made the championship game, you're in.
If you just make it, you're in.
If you make it, SMU and Clemson are in. That's 8 teams right there.
So at this point, if you do that, you're just playing for conference championship, and that's it because you're in. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well. So what you do is you take these 8 teams. They're in, no matter what, win or lose. Now, if you win, you get a better seed than if you lose.
Right.
So that's 8 teams of your 12. Now, of your 12, you've got 10 teams that you're looking for 4 teams. You take the 4 highest seeded conference champs. So you might win the conference championship and be a 19th, ranked 19, but the other ones might be 18, 17, 16, and 15. Guess what? They're in. There's no griping. There's no complaining. There's no nothing.
So let's just say that was the case right now. Here's the teams you would choose from. And I'm going to just give me 4 of those teams because I'm just going off of who won this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
You would have Marshall, Ohio, Jacksonville State, and Army. I guess you just take all 4 of them. Those would be your 4?
Well, no, Boise.
Well, they're the Mountain West Boise. So you have to choose 4 of those teams.
I would choose Boise. I would choose Marshall. I would choose Army. And
it's either Ohio or Jackson State.
Oh, Ohio. Better. Would they have the better record?
10-3, yeah.
Then you take them. That way, there's no all this. Well, they played this person and they played. Make it to your conference championship, and you're in. Bottom line, you.
So now it makes you. So what it does, it makes you have to actually compete during the season.
Doesn't matter your record. It doesn't matter your strength of schedule. Nothing. None of that crap would matter.
So what about all those other teams, the Ohio States of the world? Well, then they're going to be like, well, we only lost to Oregon.
Not my problem. You should have beat them.
I like it. It makes
that's Notre Dame, Cecil. Notre Dame joined a conference. Guess what? You're still independent. You're not making the playoffs ever because you have to go to a conference championship game. Join a freaking conference. It's 2025. Exactly. They play in the ACC in basketball. Take your butt to the ACC in football, or if you're not too scared, join the Big Ten since you're right there in the middle of Big Ten country, and freaking play.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
That's the only. I think that's the only way that you will ever not have complaints is to take the top two. But if you make the conference championship, you're in. Win or lose, you're in. Now you're just playing for seeding at this point, right? And then, like I said, your last 5 conferences: Mountain West, the MAC, the AAC, the Sun Belt, and the whatever the other one was.
Conference USA.
Conference USA. You take the highest ranked 4
out of that 5.
and it doesn't matter if, say, Army strength of schedule is number 2, and they win the AAC, but they're number 20, and the other 4 in front of them. Sorry about your strength of schedule. Congratulations, we're taking the other 4, and make that the precedent. Like, make that this is the rule. Period. There's no question. Army can't say, "Oh man, but our strength of schedule." This was the rule. You knew the rules. This was the rules. It's over with.
Yeah, I definitely can agree with that. I mean, make it to where in season has to be a win or go home type thing.
Exactly, because there's so many variables that you can't tell me that selection committee sat down and said, "Okay, Clemson lost to Team B. Team B beat Ohio State. Ohio State lost to Team C, who lost to this team, who beat this team, who's number 1 seeded overall."
Hey, you know who I want to see Notre Dame join?
The MAC, so they actually can win.
No. I have even a better one for you. The Pac-12. There's only 2 teams. Why not? At least
knowing Notre Dame, they would probably do that just so they could win conference title. They would have to play anybody hard.
Because I can't remember who's it. There's only 2 teams. That's why I say that, because I think it's hilarious.
And see, why isn't the Pac-12 there? That's a conference championship, right? Oregon State, conference champions.
Oregon won it during the season.
That's what I'm saying. Where are we at with them?
They won it with a losing record. That's what's funny. But yeah, there's definitely some adjustments they have to make for next year. I do not see it staying this way. I don't know what changes, but the way I understand it's the first year, so we didn't expect it to be perfect, and obviously like an Alabama team doesn't get in. Would I love to see an Alabama team in? I do, because it's Alabama, and I think they could win a game or 2. Would I see them winning it this year? I don't. But would I see them competing and winning a game? Yes. But at the same time, could I see SMU doing the same thing? Maybe. Like, if Alabama played Penn State instead of SMU, would it be maybe a kind of up in the air pick? Yes. But what if situation? What if SMU were to, and I'm not trying to put no juju on Josh here, but what if SMU went in there and beat Penn State? So then you can't be like, well, Alabama would have done better because like SMU did it. So like, I get where they're coming from with it, but hey, it's set in stone. We got to deal with it this year, and hopefully next year we see a little bit of change and kind of, see if anything's different. So before we bring up the bracket here, I'm going to run another ad, and then we'll kind of just talk about the bracket a little bit. We're not going to get too deep into it because we have a couple weeks till we're going to talk about these games. And then we can also talk about some of the bowl games we have coming up because those are set as well. They're set in stone. And then we'll go from there.
At Hospital Customs, we do custom apparel using embroidery, DTF full color graphics, engraved leather patches, and supply full lines of promotional products like engraved tumblers, notepads, pins, and so much more. Y'all should go check it out.
One more thing before I was just thinking. They need to go back to the 2 divisions.
In the conferences?
In the conferences. Instead of all this interconference play. Now, I'm all good with that. Like, if records aren't going to matter, if only the conference records are going to matter, say, you got A&M, Texas, Georgia, Bama, and LSU in one conference. That's only 5 teams. That's 4 games. Go play Clemson. Go play South Carolina. Go play Oregon. Whoever you want to play for your other game. And you can go 0-6 against them. You win the 4 games in your conference, and you're the SEC South Conference champ. Then you're going to go play the West champ, and then you're in. So records would not matter. But when they are all mixed in, that's why it's so confusing right now. Is because you got Georgia beat Texas, Alabama beat Georgia, Vandy beat Bama. Tennessee beat Vandy. I mean, there's so much intertwined that it makes it so hard to keep up with who deserves in and who deserves out. And this loss was bad. It's so easy. It's so simple. Why do we make it so difficult?
Yeah, it is a very difficult process, and we gotta find a way to simplify it more and put the deserving. I'm not saying none of these teams deserve it, but make it more simplified and make people have to fight it out during the season to get to the best spot that they can be in at the end of the season.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's just put it up here, man. Let's just talk about this a little bit. We have some good matchups. I mean, Derek, I'm thinking back to when we picked our brackets of what was that last Sunday. These are not nowhere close.
They're not.
we tried, but nowhere. We were way off.
I didn't even have Ohio State in mind.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't have Clemson in mind either. So we were way off. We had the teams almost, but not the right seeding. But out of the first round, which is the most exciting matchup you're ready for? At just the first round,
Tennessee, Ohio State.
That's that 8 and 9 spot is a.
I will say this: the top of the bracket to
is
me
way harder than the bottom.
Is way harder. I could see any of the top teams winning it. There's only about 3 on the bottom that can win it.
Yeah,
maybe 2. I mean, I just.
So, would you say in that sense should that Georgia got lucky? Is that what you're kind of saying there? Georgia, Boise State kind of got the luck of the draw in the sense of they get the crappier teams. I mean, I'm not saying Penn State's not crappy.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying luck of the draw because I think Indiana should be the 9 seed. I don't like Tennessee at 9. I think Ohio State should be 11. I think SMU should be 8. And I think Tennessee should be 10. Because I don't think SMU, what they lose to BYU, I think was that one, and they were ranked 12th at the time. And then they lose on a heartbreaker in the ACC championship game. Indiana's only loss was to Ohio State. So I guess that's one of those things. Oh, well, they beat them, so they got to be below them. I just
what I don't agree with all of this is Clemson shouldn't be the 12th seed. They won their conference. The person they beat is at a better, not saying necessarily a better position, but they're 11.
That is weird because I guess that means they're still behind them in the rankings. I guess I don't know.
I do agree, but I mean these 4 teams got in buys because they won their conference championships,
and they're higher seeded. Yeah,
they are. But like, shouldn't Clemson get a little bit of a potential?
Clemson being 12, and I'm going on a rant again. Notre Dame being 7th is where the whole bracket is messed up.
Notre Dame should be 12.
Yes. I agree.
They should be.
Notre Dame should be behind. Well, let's rephrase this. Notre Dame should be behind anyone who made a conference championship game. And the only one that they're behind is, well, they're behind Penn State too. So Texas and Penn State, and they're in front of SMU and Clemson. That's not right. I'm sorry.
No, they messed up there for sure. Notre Dame should have been 12 after last weekend. Should have been automatic 12.
Yeah.
Because they didn't play a conference championship. But I like the Ohio State Tennessee game. I think that is a really good, interesting game.
I know you said we're not going to really get into our picks.
No, I'm not going to pick. I'm not going to.
Well, yeah, but if you're looking at this, I'm looking at all the potential matchups. So, Clemson, Texas versus Arizona. I think that's going to be a shootout. Whoever gets there.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Tennessee, Ohio State, Oregon. It could be a great game.
Can I say something about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not going to be games. I'm sorry, it's not.
You don't think?
Not with what I saw yesterday. There's no way. Not even if they play Ohio State again, that's not going to be the same.
Oh, I think they'll still beat them, but I think it'll be a little bit better. I mean, I don't know how much better you can get.
Well, yeah, it was only a 7-point loss last time. I mean, I guess it could be 3 or less, but I'm saying the team I saw yesterday, because I thought Penn State played their best game all year in their conference championship game. And that Oregon team is something else, man. Like, Tennessee, we still don't know what Tennessee team we're going to get.
Yeah.
So that game's going to be good because of that. Ohio State kind of coming off the loss to Michigan. And then, I mean, SMU and Penn State, man, that's a hard one. It's a hard one to even think about.
See, this is where I say the bottom of the bracket is harder, because I don't like the SMU Boise State matchup, because SMU throws the ball, and I don't think Boise does very well against the throwing team.
Yeah, that could be a potential win for SMU.
Penn State, they're pretty good against the run. Boise State runs the ball.
They're not the best.
Not a good matchup for that. Notre Dame, I think Riley Leonard is actually a decent quarterback. I would put him up there with Quinn Ewers. Not as good, but can still throw the ball around.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's not a good matchup for Georgia. And then Indiana, I mean, they're a good football team, but we just don't know what we're getting. We don't know if we're getting the Nebraska Indiana or the Ohio State Indiana.
Well, that to me is the most interesting match this first round is Indiana. Like, this is their next big challenge. Like, and I do think they'll do better, because I don't think Notre Dame is better than Ohio State. Just personal opinion. And you're right. What Indiana team are we going to get? If we get the explosive Indiana team, Notre Dame could be in trouble.
Yeah. I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see that stadium for that in-state game, Indiana Notre Dame.
Yeah.
In my head, I told you this the other night. In my head, I'm thinking Red River rivalry, half in red, half in navy. I mean, that would be awesome. I know it's a home game, so we're not going to get that, but and that's another thing you got to figure out. The SMU going to Penn State next week or in 2 weeks. That's tough. That's probably
really
the biggest
tough.
advantage of this is that Penn State gets an SMU team that's not going to be. I don't know if they've played anything that way all year.
They haven't. So yeah, we have some great first round matchups. All right, Derek. So I know we said we were going to pick, but let's just give some little insights of first round. If you had to pick some winners here that you could say now would win, we'll go that far. We won't go further, because we'll just keep it kind of simple. Out of these first 4 games, who could you see winning? Based off
who's my lock to win?
Not necessarily a lock, but like a team that you think. I guess you say a lock. Like, you're like, yeah, they're going to win, or like.
I'll give one lock.
Okay.
I won't talk about it, but I'm just going to give one lock.
Okay.
Indiana beats Notre Dame.
Okay.
Indiana beats Notre Dame, but I think it's close.
Okay, I'll give you one. I'm not going to go Texas either. Surprising.
Yeah, but that's an if. Cecil heard that too.
Yeah, it isn't. It's an if because hey, it's only an if because of what Cecil said, because it's the playoffs.
Yeah.
If I have to go a lock, that I know for sure is going to win, I think I'm going to pick Penn State. I think they're locked. I mean, I'm not slouching on SMU, but this is by far going to be the best team SMU's seen. Because I thought Clemson was a really good team that they've seen, and it showed, and it was a good game. But Penn State and what I saw from Penn State last night, if we get that Penn State again in going forward,
and I think the weather is going to be.
I mean, the weather, the weather and the environment,
yeah.
And so it's going to be I think Penn State's a lock there to win that, and that's going to be an interesting matchup with Boise. So that's going to be a good if it was to happen. And like I said, I think it's a lock it'll happen. So let's kind of talk about some of these bowl games. What's one or a few bowl games you're really intrigued to see outside of the one we're going to see? By the way, again, me and Derek have tickets to Independence Bowl. We get to watch Marshall versus Army, so we're super excited about that.
Yeah,
we'll be there on the 28th. It's a late game.
Derek, ESPN.
It's on ESPN, so I am going to try everything I can to get on camera. Just because, why not?
We're going to be wearing the Tired Sports T-shirt. So pay attention about a little after halftime, about 2 minutes left in the third. You'll see me running across the field.
Well, I'll come from opposite side.
Yeah. There we go.
We're just going to run across the field.
Yeah, we'll get a little.
See how far we can get before we get tackled and escorted out.
Let me see here. I had it written down, but I lost my paper.
Well, while you look for it, I'm gonna give you one game right now.
Okay.
Tulane in Florida.
Good game.
Tulane in Florida. Florida's in a bowl game, and they are playing Tulane that has not been playing or hasn't been winning. It hasn't been playing the best. It is a Union Home Mortgage, I guess, Prala Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
It's in Tampa Bay, Florida, so it's like a home game, kind of for Florida. So, does Florida finish strong? Does Florida and Lagway, do they finish strong this year going into next year? Ended up at 8-5, which would be so that's a matchup. That
Bama and Michigan. Can Michigan knock off two big schools back to back?
Yeah, that would be a big confidence boost for Michigan going into next year for sure. So yeah, that's one of my games.
I remember Georgia Tech and Vandy.
Yeah,
Georgia.
And it's in Alabama.
It's in Alabama. What was my other one?
Hey, A&M has USC. How do you feel about that?
Should be an easy win. USC. Lincoln Riley has literally done nothing to prove to me that he's a good head coach. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Where his hype? Where is his hype? I'm like Josh. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. What the hype? I mean, there's nothing. I do want to go on a small rant about these bowl games. North Texas and Texas State. First Responders Bowl. That was the other one that I look forward to. Just because we're a bunch of these North Texas guys coming on here. So I'm kind of keeping up with them a little bit. But a little rant about all these bowl games. They're all tied to conferences. They're all tied in some way. Okay, this game has to have a Big Ten and a SEC team, or this. We've got to get away from that. We have missed out. We're missing out on opportunities for, like I said, Miami, Colorado would have been a shootout at Jerry's World. Alabama, Colorado would have been a good one. Travis Hunter is the hype reel going against a major conference team. Syracuse versus Colorado. Syracuse versus South Carolina. I would have loved to see that game. Colorado, South Carolina. I mean, the big games, bowl games are big. They're supposed to be exciting. They're supposed to, really draw you in. But now you've got this, this is the Big Ten, and this got to be the SEC. And put the best games on the board, and let's go with it.
Yeah, you have you got BYU, Colorado. I mean, it's a Big 12 game. I mean,
that's what it is. It's a conference game.
Yeah, and then you have let's see, who was the other one I just I mean, South Carolina, Illinois. I'm kind of excited about that one.
That's not, but see, they were so close to it. So throw Syracuse in there. Now you got the nation's leading passer against a really good defense. Great front seven. Can he? What'd they do to the Rose Bowl? I didn't see that.
Then you,
well,
they
kind of have to because there ain't no Pac-12 anymore. No Pac-12 champ.
I got an interesting one for you. LSU versus Baylor. Baylor finished 8-4. We didn't talk about Baylor all year.
No, we didn't.
They finished 8-4 in the Big 12. They're playing LSU in the Kinder's Texas Bowl in Houston. You got LSU in Washington, Alabama, Michigan, Iowa, and Missouri. That'll
be a
strong.
Shootout. Yeah.
Then you have East Carolina, NC State, Miami, Colorado State. Hey, here's another good one: LSU Raging Cajuns versus TCU. That's about being interesting. Here's another one that I don't agree with because I think if I'm correct, it's like a conference game. Boston and Nebraska. What is Boston? Are they Big Ten? Boston College or the ACC?
They're ACC.
Oh, Boston College, Nebraska. I mean,
Well, that quarterback entered the transfer portal, so he's not even there anymore.
The one at Boston College?
Castillo,
yeah. He's good. He's good, though.
He entered the portal.
Here's another matchup. North Carolina, UConn. UConn finished 8-4.
UConn finished strong, yes.
Washington State, Syracuse. Hey, another one. Texas Tech and Arkansas. That'd be a good one.
Where's that at?
That is the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay.
Hey, Oklahoma and Navy. That's an interesting one.
I didn't even know Oklahoma made a bowl game.
they're 6-6. You got Rutgers, Kansas State, Pittsburgh, Toledo, South Florida, San Jose State, Northern Illinois, Fresno State, Coastal Carolina. Josh's team made it.
They're playing in Myrtle Beach Bowl.
They are playing UTSA.
They're playing UTSA. That's correct. That is correct. Jeff Traylor got him a bowl game.
UNLV, they got California. And then Memphis, which Memphis finished 10-2. They ended up at number 25 on the year. They got West Virginia. And those are pretty much the pretty good games that I would be looking out for just because, I kind of agree with you. This was out of the remaining teams that were bowl eligible. They should have made some good matchups that people wanted to see.
Exactly, and they didn't. And it's no knock to the lower tier schools, but this was such a good college football year. How do you not? I'm telling you, I don't know how you do not have Colorado high scoring offense, Miami high scoring offense, or Colorado Syracuse.
Colorado, Alabama. There could have been some matchups we could have got.
Here you go. Here we go. Miami, South Carolina.
I would have loved it.
That'd have been great. That would have been great.
I don't know what their thought process with these bowl games, but when it comes down to it, I don't agree with a lot of them.
The playoff committee is stupid. The bowl selection people are stupid. I'm some dumb redneck in East Texas, man, and I can figure out this crap. Surely to God, they can do it.
This could have been their opportunity to pick teams that would have been like playoff atmosphere games.
Almost like an NIT.
Exactly. They could have been playoff atmosphere. Instead, they just put some I don't know.
Yards at a chalkboard and just see where they hit.
Pretty much that's what they did, man. They didn't really think about it a lot because I think they could have done a lot more with it.
Yeah.
And but here we are. But yeah, man, this playoff bracket it's an interesting one. And I'm excited about everything. We have a couple. We got Army Navy next weekend. That's about it in college football.
There's no bowl games next weekend. I thought the bowl game started Saturday also. Unless I look.
They do. There's one. South Alabama and Western Michigan.
Yeah, I was going to say we can start talking.
So we got 2 games. But we have some games following that. So we can talk about some games.
Like Sunday night, we can hit on some.
Sunday night, instead of picking the games we enjoyed watching, we can pick some games to look at next week for sure.
And then we'll do the bracket next week. Wednesday.
What starts on the 20th?
21st. No, the 20th. You're right. Friday night, and we'll
Indiana Notre Dame. That's the first one. I'm so excited about that.
And that's we'll have Tennyson on that night too, so we'll kind of be on with him, and and watching, and
that's exciting. So yeah,
and
Wednesday
then
we can.
Saturday morning, 11 a.m. SMU Penn State right out of the gate. Texas is at 3. Tennessee Ohio State at 7.
I love that there's 3 games and that they're all at different times. I love that.
Yeah.
So we don't have to flip back and forth. Kind of like I had that SMU game on one screen.
TNT, and ABC. Perfect.
Yeah, that's perfect. So yeah, we'll talk about what we're going to do, but we'll definitely talk about some of the bowl games going into the playoff games. And yeah, man, I'm when do they do the Heisman stuff, the picks for things like that? Is that before the national championship
It's
game? I'm
normally
assuming.
before, but I don't know what exact date.
Well, we'll be looking out for that. That'll be something good. We'll have to
Yeah, for sure.
That's obviously I mean, I think it should be a lock, but they're going to find a way to mess it up. I mean, they've kind of messed this stuff up, so I'm not going to be surprised if they mess that up some kind of way. But if there's nothing else you have on the college side, I think we covered it well. We talked about a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. We got a lot coming up show wise as far as college stuff. Once the bowl stuff gets right, and it's kind of sad. It's kind of wrapping up. We got about less than a month left on the college football side of things, and then we'll transition right into the basketball stuff, which is exciting in itself. But
we haven't talked a lot about it because of the people we've been having on, and then just football. It's just so much going on. But we're definitely going to be hopping into that end of December, going into January. So let's take an ad break here. And then we'll hop in and we'll hop in and talk some NFL stuff from today. There wasn't a lot of great games, but there was definitely a few good games that were surprising. We'll do that, and then we'll get going.
Things that we offer is a fence repair, and today we're out here in Longview, Texas. We are going to be replacing a rotten 4x4 post. Fence restored and standing tall. You can reach us at 903-619-6343.
So one more thing real quick, I just popped up. College football side.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State quarterback Devin Brown has entered the transfer portal. He was a top 40 recruit in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
He'll stay on with the team for the rest of the year. Number 33, quarterback, number 33. I would have entered the transfer portal as soon as they handed me a number 33 jersey as a quarterback. I would have walked right out. I'd have walked right out of the locker room. You don't give me no freaking 33, bro. Like that's disrespectful. I don't care. Yeah. That's disrespectful.
Yeah, wow, 33.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Minnesota game. We predicted this. We said it was going to be a blowout, and it was exactly that.
Yep. Close at half, though.
It was close at the half. Sam Darnold was phenomenal in this game.
Yeah, only 6 passes. He's playing himself into a ton of money, and he is each week that he plays good, there is quarterback controversy in Minnesota.
Yes, because J.J. McCarthy will be back.
Yep.
And he was supposed to be the starter.
Yep.
And my question to that is, how do you not have Sam Darnold starting quarterback when he has him at 11-2?
No idea. That's but I can't figure out is how is Kirk Cousins still starting for Atlanta?
Yeah. In the last 2 weeks, he's thrown 6 picks in the last 2 weeks. So it is time.
It's Penix. I mean, it is. It's been Penix time. But what's bad is I think they're still leading the division, if I'm not mistaken.
They aren't after today. Buccaneers won, so Buccaneers are 7-6 now.
Tampa Bay did win?
They did win.
Well, what's their divisional record, though? I think
who did they play today?
I think Atlanta was up on them in the division, not just overall record.
Let me see here. I'm about to pull it up right now. They're 3-4, and Atlanta is 3-3. So I think Atlanta. So they're pretty much tied. I think Atlanta just played one last game, so they're still tied. But Buccaneers beat the Raiders today, as expected. A quick update, real quick. Chiefs are winning 3-0, and it has 9 minutes left in the second. So that's kind of where we are on that game. No, not a bunch of turnovers or nothing. Nobody's running the ball great. It's just off quarterback versus quarterback at this point, and they're pretty much dead even. So that's kind of where we are on the on the Chiefs Chargers game. But yeah, Minnesota took care of business. So we're getting into that. That's I watched that entire game, and I have some interesting facts to talk about that game. But yeah, Sam Darnold played great. Addison had a heck of a game again.
I was just gonna say, the more Addison improves, I think the scarier this offense gets, because you already know what Jefferson's going to do. At any given moment, he can pump off for $150, and 2 touchdowns when needed. And the fact that he is, I'm not going to say he's taking the back seat, but
he doesn't have to do it all.
Exactly. Knowing that not only knowing that he doesn't have to do it all, but you're not hearing him say, man, they got to get me the ball. They got to throw me the ball. They got to do. He's letting the young kid eat, and when he's eating, they're winning. They're winning big. I think the 2 games that he kind of really blew up, Addison, they've won by 20 or more points.
Yep.
So I think that's awesome.
And what it also does is it gives Sam Darnold more confidence that he just doesn't have Jefferson only. Mm-hmm. It's not like he's got to force feed it to Jefferson. He's like, I got Addison too. Like I have 2-star receivers in a sense. Like I'm good. Aaron Jones is playing great for them. Running, doing his thing. I mean, Atlanta. It's either time to break this Atlanta team up, or it's time to make a change of quarterback. Which
I think they have 1 year left. I think that Penix. So at some point, Penix has to get in there this year to see what they got. Even if it is the last 4 weeks of the season.
What I was about to say is I think that knowing Atlanta, the way they've done it, or the way they've done it this year, they're not giving up on Kirk Cousins until they cannot win the division. That's when they put Penix in, because they're going to say Kirk Cousins is still the guy. We still believe in Kirk. Well, I can tell you right now, who knows what Penix does? What if Penix could put them back in the division to win it easily? Like, they don't know because they haven't tried. There's not a lot of trying here. They're just kind of, like.
If you're Atlanta, and I'm not going to name this team, but if a certain team came to you with a top 15 pick, and they said, we'll give you our number 1, a 3, and a 3 next year for Robinson, would you do it?
The team will not do it, but if I'm Robinson, I'm like, get me out of here.
It would be a perfect addition for Dallas.
Oh my God, yeah, he's such.
I don't think we're getting Genty. I think we're too far in it now, especially when we go on this run and go to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Man, I'm gonna tell you, man, the Falcons have lost their last 4 games.
That's what I'm saying. When is Penix's time? Like you're just treading water at this point. You're treading water. You're just staying afloat. You're staying afloat just because you're paying Cousins all this money.
But I want to point something out here with this team. Let me tell you their wins. They beat the Eagles. That's their most impressive win by 1 point. Mm-hmm. They beat the Saints. Terrible. I mean, they beat the Bucks. Okay, it's a division game, so like, okay, whatever. It's their next biggest win. They beat the Panthers. Woo. They beat the Buccaneers again. Okay, now you've won it twice. They beat the Cowboys. Woo. We don't care. Obviously, you should. The Cowboys are terrible. And then you lose 4 straight. They got the Raiders next. Let me tell you right now what they do. Because this loss, if they lose to the Raiders, it doesn't matter. It has no significance in the division. This is the game where you put Penix in to see what he can do against a bad team. That's what you do. Because if he does get against, if Penix was to do bad against the Raiders, then you have to stay with Kirk Cousins the rest of the year. That's what I would do. You play him against a team that he has a chance to shine. If he can't shine, then you know he's not going to do better than Cousins does. You have nothing to lose to put him into the Raiders. The way Kirk Cousins has been, Kirk Cousins will probably light the Raiders up. He should, right?
Yeah.
He should. But I'm saying is, or I'll even go to say this: give Kirk Cousins a half or a quarter. He doesn't play good, then you put Penix in. Like, you have to make that change at some point because Kirk Cousins is not playing well for this team. He is actually dragging this team down. They are too talented offensively and defensively to be 6-7.
The playbook would open up with Penix too, because I think Penix can move the pocket a whole lot better. Kirk Cousins is a pocket passer, and so like everybody can kind of sit back.
Kirk Cousins is not rushing.
What was the score to the Atlanta Dallas game?
The Atlanta 27-21. It wasn't a blowout by any means.
But now this it's funny. So Atlanta beats Dallas, then loses 4 straight.
Mm-hmm.
The Saints beat Dallas by 70 and then lose 6 straight. So what does that tell you about Dallas? Like they suck. If we're getting beat by teams that are going on 4 and 5 and 6 game losing streak.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to talk about them. They don't play tomorrow. We'll talk about that trash later.
But the other game.
But I do agree with you on that. I think Penix, he has to. I mean, in a non-divisional game, you're already up 2 on the Bucks because you've beat them twice already. And if they're in second in the division, so you have the head-to-head with them. All you got to do is beat the Saints.
Their last remaining conference game or division game is the Panthers.
Yeah.
But listen, hear me out. Hear me out. Carolina's being competitive right now. It shows.
Yeah.
They were competitive with the Chiefs. They were competitive in this game. Atlanta better watch out, is what I'm getting at.
You think?
Yes. Yeah, look, 11-2, lost by 4. They could have won the game. They were driving. They could have won this game. This could have been a win. They lose to the Chiefs by 3. I'm not, like I said today, they're competing. They're not winning. But if they play an Atlanta team that continues to fall.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
And for Carolina, beat Atlanta does nothing but knock them in a second.
I think Bryce Young sitting out really helped him.
Oh, listen, I watched a little bit of that game. I watched a lot of that game today. Dude, he looked good.
I think his third season is really he's gonna shine. I really do.
Next year will be his. Now, I'm not saying Carolina's making they might make the playoffs. But I'm saying like next year will be a better year for them if they do the right things in the offseason and the draft.
A 7-win season next year is a massive improvement for the Panthers.
Massive. You can even. If let's say they end up with 4 wins, if you win 5 games next year, it's an improvement.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But I'm saying for Bryce Young, between now and then the offseason next year, I see a big improvement coming from him. I mean, I already see it this year. He threw 1 pick today, was whatever. But I seen him make an insane play today where he was running around, evaded a couple defenders in the pocket, never crossed over, didn't take off running, just threw and hit Thielen right in the arms. Like, it was an insane play. Like, he's – and, I mean – Saquon just had a ginormous game, no touchdowns, but ran all over him.
He's so good.
He's insane. Right now, I would have him winning the Heisman if I had to pick, but they're going to give it to a quarterback because that's the way it goes. But Barkley is.
Well, that'd be kind of cheating if he wins the Heisman.
Yes, but yeah.
You talking about MVP?
Oh yeah, the MVP. Oh yeah. Well, he. With these numbers, he could win the Heisman.
Yeah,
he'd have about 3,000 yards the way he's been playing. But yeah, yeah. It was a competitive game for Carolina, but Philly just is being Philly. And it went. Philly got the win. It was a closer game than probably what everybody expected, but this Philly team is still really good, but I like what I'm seeing from Carolina for the future. Obviously, there's nothing going on now, but I would not be surprised if this team was to beat Atlanta if Atlanta continues to slide like they have been, especially if they don't make the change at quarterback. Because like you said, they have a really good chance to win the division still. Atlanta does, but I would not be surprised if they were to lose to Carolina the last game because of the way they've been playing. But kudos to Bryce Young for taking that step back. I commend him for doing that and taking a couple games and just watching and learning and continue to grow his as a man, as a player, and as a football player.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
and taking that time off has really showed that he didn't just sit there and was all pity petty about not starting. He like went and learned and grew from it. And then this Buffalo man, I'm gonna throw something at y'all. There was this game, it was over 900 yards of offense. There was no sacks, no turnovers this entire game. Josh Allen had 6 total touchdowns. I mean, dude, he is insane. Matthew Stafford played great. Williams played great. Puka Nacua was doing it. I mean, this was the best game all afternoon. They put up 86 points. I mean, dude, it was a slugfest. It was a battle. I mean, I don't know if you watched it, but Buffalo punted the ball, and the Rams just went back there and blocked it, scooped it, and scored. It was the best block you could have done on a punt. I mean, this was a big win for the Rams.
Is that how they won the game?
No, that's not how they won the game, but it was a big part of the game.
Okay, I was just gonna say.
Buffalo just could never get the stop. That one stop they needed to go up. It was 10 points and then down 3, 10 points and down 3. They could just never get that stop to get that extra possession to either get a field goal or another touchdown. And the only reason they lost by 2 is they went for 8. That's how they were, because I think they were expecting to get the ball back, score a field goal, win by 1. I think that was their mindset. It just didn't happen. The Rams' defense was okay. I mean, you're not stopping Josh Allen. Obviously, you can see that right there, but they played good enough, and with the extra block punt really helped them because it got them an extra touchdown. I would say that won them the game. No, because that was a huge – I mean, it was a perfect block and then a scoop and score by another defender, and it was just – I mean, it was like a gimme almost. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It was insane, and the Rams have a duo running back that could be a problem in the future. Obviously Williams, but they have Blake Crum from Michigan. Did you know he was on? I did not know he was on.
I did not know he was on that team.
He played well for them today. I mean, obviously it was Williams that shined, but he played well for them when he had to come in. I'm still high on this Rams team. I mean, I say it every time we talk about them. I picked them to win this. I pick them going to the Super Bowl. I don't know if I picked them winning. I might have, but I know I picked them going to the Super Bowl, and I'm going to stick by it. I don't know. I like this team, and I saw what I wanted to see from them today, and they beat Buffalo, and that's a good win. That's a really good win for a team Buffalo is so good.
Mm-hmm.
And Matthew Stafford only 7 incompletions. I mean, he is.
Are they winning the division or no?
I do not think they're winning the division.
I think it's the Cardinals.
Well, I don't know. I think it is the Cardinals. Let me look. They are in second place behind Seattle.
Or Seattle. That's right.
Because Seattle did win today.
Seattle did win today. Let me tell you a game that I was completely surprised about. That was Chicago and the 49ers.
Oh my gosh, Chicago is just atrocious
At one point, I think it was 240 something yards to 33 or something along them lines. Brock Purdy looked good.
That team played great today.
20 of 25 for, 300 yards, I think, 314, something like that. 2 touchdowns. Brock Purdy looked good today.
And I'll give you another interesting fact in that game. At the end of the first half, Chicago had 2 yards of total offense.
That's what it was. 2. Okay, I remember it was something along them lines.
2 yards. Yeah. How do you only have 2 yards? I'm completely confused by that. What do you run the ball 2 yards and that's all you got all? I don't know.
Well, they figure in the sacks. The sacks take away from the passing yards and all that.
That's just insane. 2 yards. I think Dallas does better than that, and they're atrocious.
They were outgained by 300 yards. 300. George Kittle, 6 for 151.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, that was a probably good confidence booster for them. I'm just with the way the Rams are playing right now, and even Seattle. I
And
mean,
a random fact about this game: what do you think the time of possession was in this
oh
game?
my God. So what is there? There's what 60 minutes,
or 60 minutes.
40 minutes for Arizona, 20 for the Chicago. I'm probably going way too high, or hell, I may be too low.
31-48 for the 49ers, 28-12 for Chicago. It was almost dead even.
Wow.
And they get outgained as bad as they did.
Wow.
Wild.
That's
wild.
That's terrible. That's just terrible.
Yeah, they're just a bad
Now
team.
I understand the locker room is lost in Chicago. They lose their head coach, they fire him. The intern coach is
He's
not
just
doing
riding the season out. That's all he's doing. He knows he's gone.
So yeah, I mean it's just
Who goes there? I mean, just who do you think goes? Who wants to go to Chicago? I guess anybody would really want to go, especially if you're not a head coach right now. I mean, any kind of offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator would want to go be a head coach, right?
I'm gonna give you a coach that because Chicago is a defensive minded coach with the offense that complements it. I could see this happening depending on what happens in the future with another team, but I could see Mike Zimmerman going there. Dallas defensive coordinator. Why not? I mean,
I'm gonna tell you why I don't think so. Because they loaded up on offense in Chicago.
They did. They did.
So I think they have one coach in mind.
And I'm trying to think of a defensive heavy minded or offensive heavy minded coach.
This one's the left field. Lincoln Riley.
Oh God.
Lincoln Riley hooks back up with Caleb Williams in Chicago.
Jesus Christ. I mean,
I don't know that. This is just my, I'm just throwing this out there. But, I mean, that seems like a Chicago thing to do.
I mean, would I be surprised by it? No, but he's not even great. He's not even great in college.
No, he's not.
So
neither was Caleb Williams. But Chicago.
Well, Caleb Williams, his best thing would have.
I would be happy with that. But that means he's not in Dallas anymore.
Yeah. Can Dallas just trade him there? Like,
yeah, we'll trade him for a 7th in 2072.
Yeah, I'll trade him for a 2130 pick. I'll trade him for a pick where I'm not even alive. Just
that dude is. Yeah. Watch him come out and win tomorrow night by 17.
Yeah. Let's talk about that game. Since we're on the NFL side of it, I mean, they're playing a Bengals team that's, they can't win a game. They're not a bad team. They just can't. Well, they're atrocious defensive wise.
Yeah.
They're terrible defense.
So what do you do when a terrible offense meets a terrible defense?
Well,
the best thing that's going to happen tomorrow is Cincinnati's offense. Dallas's defense is bad. Cincinnati's defense is bad. Dallas's offense is bad. The Bengals offense is. I wouldn't be surprised if Chase doesn't go for 200 yards plus tomorrow.
I think Joe Burrow has 400 yards. I'm not even kidding.
I agree. I 100% agree with you.
Because I would love to see a Bengals offense. Could you imagine the Bengals offense with a Lions defense? That would be nuts.
Yeah.
Not that the Bengals have a lot running wise. Okay, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna take all that back. Switch Burrow and switch Goff. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow.
I don't know. Goff is
no. Goff is great
for that system.
No, he is. But I'm just saying. Imagine the
Burrow.
Yeah. Imagine Burrow on the Lions.
So this is where I'm at with Dallas. I hope that Cincinnati beats them so bad. I mean, really, not even Cincinnati. It could be the next week or the next.
No, but they could. They got the Panthers the next week. I told you, don't sleep on the Panthers.
At some point, Jerry has to step in and say, you know what, McCarthy, you're gone. We're going to run with Zimmer or we're going to run with the special teams coach as the head coach for the rest of the year, whatever. Because obviously the special teams coach is a great coach. Freaking Aubrey's kicking 65-yard field goals. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, for sure.
But that, I think, would ease the mind of the locker room, of the fans, of potential free agents that say, hey, okay, McCarthy's for sure not going to be there. He's for sure not going to be the guy. Because with him still being there as bad as they are, that's almost like giving him hope that, man, if I win out, if I win 3 of the last 4, maybe I'm going to keep my job here. Like, just go ahead and axe it. Like, be done with it. And because that also gives who I really, really, really hope we get is Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Lions. That gives him an idea of maybe Dallas was going to call it.
Does Ben Johnson turn Dak into a better quarterback?
No, I think we go to a running team. I think we draft running backs. We sign running backs and offensive linemen in the free agent, and I think Dak turns into Jared Goff. Efficient.
So let me hit on that. If they have a better running game, Dak does become better because look what happened with Zeke.
Well, yes.
That's what I mean. Like
he
turns him into a better quarterback because of what the running game will do to the game for Dallas.
Right. He turns him into Jared Goff, not Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or anything like that.
Right. So, man. Dallas doesn't get that lucky. There's no way.
I'm just telling you, dude.
I know. I agree with you.
A great. If we get Ben Johnson, a great game for Dak would be 17 of 24, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns. That would be an amazing game because that means our running game is 150 total rushing yards between 2 backs. One of them might have say Zeke has 115 yards, no touchdowns, but the Genty, say we draft him, Genty has 16 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, it just that's the way Detroit does. I mean, their leading rusher that doesn't always have the most touchdowns. It's normally flipped.
Do you think anybody on the offensive side? Here's another question. I don't know what the situation is. I can't tell you if the free agents. I can't tell you anything. Is there anyone on the Detroit side of players would follow him to Dallas if they could?
No, because they love Dan Campbell.
Okay.
If I'm Ben Johnson, I wouldn't leave Dan Campbell. They have a perfect coaching staff, perfect organization, perfect players. The
only way he leaves is that head coaching opportunity.
Yes, that's the only way he doesn't go be an offensive coordinator somewhere else.
Because he's young, right? He's a younger offensive coordinator.
I think he's 36,
yeah,
34,
that's what I'm saying.
something like that.
I mean,
but yeah, there's no way he leaves his situation for something else because they're built. I could easily see them competing for the next decade. Not winning everything, but I think them and the Lions. Them and the Vikings could battle every year for the division title, and both of them make the playoffs every single year.
So let's just say Ben Johnson gets the head coaching job. Does he do what McCarthy does, or does he bring in another offensive coordinator? Because think about it, you're 36 years old, you're a young guy. Now you're a head coach. Do you do 2 jobs, or you just take on the one and you get you the offensive coordinator that mirrors yourself?
That's what I would do. That because it takes the
pressure off of him.
Pressure off of you. Now, yeah, you can overrule 4th and 1, and the offensive coordinator calls a Hail Mary. Obviously, you can overrule that and run the ball. But, yeah, I think that would be so. And go out and get you. I'm gonna tell you what I would do. This is just me. I would go young.
Oh yeah, you have to.
All across the coaching staff. And what I mean by that, you're not competing in year 1 in Dallas. If you bring in a whole new coaching staff, a whole new coach, you're on at least a 1 to 2 year rebuild. And you could hit gold and your second year, everybody buy in and really go with it. Go get you a defensive coordinator, hard nosed, just like Bill Belichick. I think Bill Belichick would be a great defensive coordinator, especially for a young guy. Now, Belichick's not going to do that. Belichick's going to be a head coach, or he's not. Get you a young, and I was just talking crap about him as a head coach, but Lincoln Riley is an amazing offensive coordinator. An amazing offensive coordinator. Go get you a Lincoln Riley as your offensive coordinator. Go find you a defensive coordinator guy. Even if you got a pick from the college rank.
So you'll go to that extent.
I mean, why not? It can't be no worse than we are this year.
So I'm sitting here looking at some defensive coordinators that are on the younger side. What if they were to pull Vance Joseph away from Arizona? He's their defensive coordinator. He's young. What if they pull? Well, they're not pulling that one. Let me see here. I'm trying to find the younger ones because, hey, hear me. Oh, well, I think I'd have seen something on next. Hear me out. This would this be insane to do? If Ben Johnson was to take over, what if Robert Saleh comes to be the defensive coordinator for Dallas? That would be a great choice. He's younger. Yeah, I mean, wow, I just thought about that because, like, he was the defensive coordinator at one point for the 49ers. If I'm correct, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's where he got his exposure, was being their defensive coordinator. I mean, I agree. They've got to look for younger. And it wouldn't hurt to venture off into the college side of it and see who you could get.
I got you one. Who has been one of the best defensive teams of the last 6 years in college? 6 to 7 years.
Oh, I mean, you're going to have to go Georgia.
Okay, think different conference. Same line, a different conference.
I mean, are you talking about a Penn State type thing?
Phil Parker from Iowa. Phil Parker from Iowa. Or if Jerry really wanted to swing for the fences, I'm talking knock the ball out of the park. Go get Dan Lanning from Oregon to be your head coach.
Oh, that ain't how. He ain't leaving there.
He's not leaving, but if you threw enough money, he would.
You think so? So if they win a national championship, he's leaving. With that recruiting class coming in, he's going to leave to go to the crappy Dallas Cowboys.
I mean, I'm not saying he is, but I'm not saying he isn't. Say they lose. Say they get bumped first playoff game.
Don't put that juju on Oregon.
But I'm just saying. I mean, just
okay.
That they lose after the year they've had, after all the hype, after everything, and Jerry says, "Hey, Dan, 12.2, come coach for me."
He's making more than that at Oregon, ain't he?
No, I think the highest paid college coach is $10 million.
Oh, there's no way. It's way more than that. It's got to be.
I don't think so.
Really? Are you serious? That just seems so low. And I mean, I could be wrong.
Let me double check, but I'm pretty sure. Kirby's at 13.
So
Dabo's at 11. Sarkisian's at 10. Riley's at 10. Day's at 10. Norvell's at 10. DeBoer's at 10. Brian Kelly's at 9. Stoops is 9.
He's at Dan Lanning's 8.2.
You tell me for 12 he's not coming to Dallas? $4 million raise and in the NFL?
You me see. Let me give you one that would really make Josh happy.
Franklin.
Yes, they're going to Dallas, so now Derek and Dustin get a taste.
Yeah. Oh, we get Lanning and Franklin goes to Oregon and wins a natty. Oh, Josh would lose his mind.
Oh, dude, he would lose. Oh man.
But realistically, if you get Ben Johnson and you get Lincoln Riley on your offensive side, and then you bring in Robert, you just said his name.
Robert Saleh.
Saleh, yeah. Sorry, I was going to say Shula, but no, that wasn't right. I think
you're thinking of Don Sula. He's a good defensive coach too.
But those three right there are great offensive minded, and then a really a player's defensive coach. Because I think a lot of the team liked him in New York. I just think it was Rodgers and him that didn't work well together.
Yeah, no, he was only in year what
3?
3? Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, and not to go back to college, but have you been seeing all the stuff with Mike Gundy?
I believe he got let go, didn't he?
Not yet.
Oh, he hadn't yet.
They asked him to take a pay cut to be able to pay more NIL players. Now,
That's
they're
tough. That's tough, especially with the boot. You got Boone T. Pickens, a freaking billionaire, and you're asking your head coach to take a pay cut.
They're asking him to take a pay cut for NIL to give more NIL offers, and I saw a report saying if he does not, they are not going to say if they're going to release him or not. But that tells me if he doesn't, they're probably going to release him, which would be atrocious because Mike Gundy, what he's done there for all these years he's been great.
Been there forever.
He's been there forever, and he's taken that team to some really highs, and obviously this year they were really low. But they had that team had a lot of injuries this year.
Yeah.
And I hate that for him. But yeah, I saw that because I'm scrolling down all these paid players, and it would just that would yeah. I mean, what about I'm sitting here looking. I'm trying to figure out another college coach that would. I just don't see it happen. I even thought about Matt Rule, but he's already had that experience, and he went to Carolina. I don't think he's coming from college for a while.
Back.
Not for a while.
I'll tell you who I'd like. I'd like Iowa State's head coach.
Hey, I'll take Arizona State's head coach too, but he ain't leaving there.
He ain't leaving there, bro. He's not leaving.
He's in year one, and what they just did, he ain't leaving for a while.
And he's got a great quarterback coming back. Levitt. I mean, they might run it back.
Yeah, especially if they do something big. I wouldn't even be surprised if Scatterboot stayed to run it back just because.
Just because. That's right.
Just because. Not that he needs to, but just because. Update. Chiefs are up 13-0. They just scored, and it is almost halftime. And so this game is not going. I hate this because this is the game I thought they would lose and not have to win by 7. And they still could, but they're up 13-0 right now. Almost halftime.
Cecil. We don't need you talking like that in here.
Dude. That team is going to be atrocious next year because DJ Uiagalelei is coming back.
Yeah.
And
yeah, they're going to be bad.
With how that season went for Florida State, they deserve not to make it last year. They had all that hoop and haul. They deserve because of how bad. I mean, I'm basing it off of this year. I'm glad they didn't make it last year because of how bad they were this year. I'm just saying that right now. And I hate that because Jordan Travis was really good, and they didn't make it because he got injured. That's why they didn't make it. And I see why the people are saying the stuff about the Georgia stuff. But that's the reason they did not make it.
They didn't make it because of TCU.
Well,
it has anything to do with Jordan Travis. The TCU clobbering that they took on the hands of Georgia is why Florida State didn't make it.
I mean,
because that was
going to happen again.
They got so much hate for that, and it was warranted. I mean, TCU did not deserve to be in there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, they didn't. That was the worst. It reminded me of that Super Bowl between was it the Ravens and the Broncos, Peyton's first year, where they got blew out by the Ravens, or was it vice versa?
No, that was Seattle and the Broncos.
And
Legion of Boom, Percy Harvin ran the kickoff back,
and they just got blew out.
Yeah,
super boring Super Bowl. I'm glad they learned from that because TCU never had a shot in that game.
Yeah, I agree.
Georgia, I'm pretty sure second half, I don't even know if they played any starters. And that was a gimme for Kirby. sorry, it was. That was the easiest setup for a championship in college football that I can remember. And it's not a knock to TCU; they were a good team, but
They didn't. They were out.
that was an SEC Georgia team that was like just destined to win that year, even if it wasn't TCU. But yeah, that was crazy. Nat, is there? I haven't looked, but I thought there was some interesting college basketball games on tonight.
UCLA beat Oregon tonight.
Wow, really?
Upset. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, number 1 Kansas goes down to Missouri, 76-67.
What?
Yep.
Wow.
Number 16 Memphis goes down to Arkansas State, 85-72.
What?
Duke beat Louisville.
Yeah. UConn beat Texas today. I was.
UCLA 73, Oregon 71. I believe. Yes, Dylan Andrews banks a 3 with 0.4 seconds left to lift them up.
Wow.
We're getting so close to the basketball side of stuff. It's I mean this game is unreal. So first half ends 34-33 Oregon. Then they get outscored by 3 in the second half and lose. They lose by 3. They get outscored by 3. Good game. That's good stuff. Well, we
Arkansas
got tomorrow. Let me see. Monday, only one game.
College basketball is going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
I'm really excited for college basketball this year.
It's a little harder to kind of keep up with it because it's not just one day. It's all through the week. So
yeah, it's all through the week.
Hitting multiple games.
Once we get through with the basketball, we can focus on basketball in general, college, NBA, just more in-depth stuff because the football side of things right now take up so much.
And like I said, it's so easy football because it's focused on realistically 2 days. You're looking at Saturday and you're looking at Sunday. Yeah, there's a Thursday game and a Monday game, but the bulk of it is those. But yeah, man, I'm good on my end.
If you have nothing else, so on Wednesday, we do have another commit that we've been Derek's been in touch with a lot. Should be on Wednesday. And to kind of piggyback, we were saying off earlier, again, Cecil, thank you so much. We are going to be doing it. We'll just say this. We're going to be doing a giveaway soon, and it's going to be huge. So everybody, the followers, people that just come in to watch, whether you're from YouTube, whatever, if you do have a Facebook, go follow us and be on the lookout for that because that's going to be huge. And we can't thank Cecil enough because that's something he did not have to do. It's something he just reached out and said, hey, here's this type thing. So, Cecil, we appreciate that more than you know. And, be on the lookout for that. That'll be coming maybe next week, maybe the week after, and then we'll announce it and we'll kind of explain what it is and we'll tell you kind of what you need to do to be put into the giveaway. And then, we'll be talking some outside of having our guest on Wednesday. Probably talk about the game on the one game we have on what is it, the 14th, I believe the one college game, and then we'll probably head into some other games for that weekend if there will be
NFL
some that
game.
weekend, NFL, and then we'll
maybe a little bit of basketball thrown in.
Yeah, throw some other stuff in there because we'll have some stuff to fill in since there's not a ton of football going on between now and then. And so if that's all you have, Derek, we'll thanks to all the sponsors, of course, as always. Thanks for everyone being here and commenting and interacting with us. And remember to follow us on all our social medias, Facebook, X, TikTok, and YouTube. And we'll see y'all we'll see you Wednesday.
All right, later, buddy.